Show on Sirius XM channel 127, Friday, January 22nd. As always, I'm here to be your MBFF. I'm always needy and I'm always Muslim, and I'm here to be your MBFF. So, folks, big day today. We learned that the Senate trial will likely begin on Tuesday at 1 p.m. It could change. That's what likely is going to happen. We also learned something else, that Chuck Schumer is still trying to cobble together a power-sharing agreement with Mitch, the Grim Reaper, McConnell. I can't remember Mitch McConnell ever playing nice with the Democrats when the GOP controlled the Senate. We control the Senate right now. And, take a step back and look how we got here. It took so much work from so many people. Remember this, January 2017, when Donald Trump was sworn in, Republicans controlled the White House, the U.S. Senate, the House of Representatives, and 33 governorships. And they held a record number of state legislators. What's happened in the last 4 years? Well, Democrats worked hard. New people joined us. And we got out there. We registered voters. We voted. We made sure things were going to change. And look where we sit now. We control the White House, the House of Representatives, the Senate by way of a remarkable 2 victories in Georgia, and 24 governorships. But what's really the issue here is Congress. And right now you have Chuck Schumer trying to negotiate a power-sharing deal with Mitch McConnell. And inherently, there's nothing wrong with a power-sharing deal if it favors the Democrats. Look, in 2001, it's the last time we had a 50-50 Senate. That's what we have now, 50-50 Senate. But in this case, there's no doubt Chuck Schumer is the Senate Majority Leader because the Vice President is a Democrat, Kamala Harris. And the idea of having a power-sharing agreement where you put in paper that there's each committee's the same number of members, that's fine. We want to put in paper that the Senate Majority Leader, who's Chuck Schumer, controls the agenda like they did in 2001, that's fine too. But what's happening is now you've got Chuck Schumer having to negotiate with Mitch McConnell about will the Democrats ever do a filibuster, get rid of the filibuster or not. And today Schumer said, no, we're not going to agree to that. But what he said is, what's fair is fair, exact terms, talking about the 2001 fair power sharing deal. What's fair is fair might have worked in 2001, but we're 20 years from there. And in that time, things have changed dramatically in this country. And the Republican Party, most notably, Mitch McConnell is a man who for years, and reminding Chuck Schumer, when you think of fair, think of Mitch McConnell saying in 2010, his number one priority was to ensure that Barack Obama was a one-term president. And from there, Mitch McConnell blocked legislation after legislation proposed by Barack Obama. And even after he won re-election, he continued to block legislation such as jobs bills, infrastructure bills, a criminal justice reform that then Trump took credit for later, which was really under Obama. And of course, Merrick Garland and numerous federal judges. And in the last 2 years, you have Mitch McConnell bragging, calling himself the Grim Reaper, and that he is so pleased at killing legislation that helps people, such as $2,000 in direct stimulus money just a few months ago, to not allowing voting on the reauthorization of the Violence Against Women Act, to the Equality Act, preventing any votes on that, preventing any votes on raising the minimum wage or shoring up our voting rights. So how do you negotiate with a person like that? Now, a lot of people have emailed me and have called my show and asked, well, since we control the Senate, why do we have to even negotiate this deal? And that's a great question. And the best answer I can find out, and it's reporting from Reuters, is that, yes, we control the Senate. Vice President Harris is Senate president. She can decide, she can cast a tie-breaking vote anytime there's a tie. But in reality, the Senate president, who is Vice President Harris, is generally too busy to spend every day in the Senate when they're doing business to cast tie-breaking vote after tie-breaking vote. And that's the issue. And perhaps in this scenario, we're going to have no choice but to have Vice President Harris almost like back being a senator. Back there when the Senate's in session. They're not there every day. And the rest of the time doing work as vice president, traveling the world, the country, working on policy, whatever it might be. But it's really that practical impediment that is making a power-sharing deal happen. And the problem is with sharing power with the GOP, especially McConnell, is that for the GOP and the Democrats, there's a vastly different metrics for what's success. For Democrats, what's success for us, for our base, and even for the country, is we delivering on policies, passing bills that help people, such as we have nearly 20% of families with children going to bed hungry now. making sure there's more robust aid for them on the COVID relief bills, making sure there's more loans for small businesses, and raising the national minimum wage, dealing with criminal justice reform, addressing climate change, and the list goes on. Our measure of success is enacting laws that help people and delivering on promises made to people who came out and voted for us. What is the Republican measure of success? Just saying no. Just saying no to everything that is good. Saying no to every policy that Democrats propose. And when they just say no, 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 they go back and brag to their base. We stood up to the Democrats. Every time they wanted to spend money to help people, we said no. And their base is ecstatic. It's two immovable objects colliding at this point. It's no longer the GOP is about what's good for this country. It's about what's good for their base only. So when you're dealing with Mitch McConnell, and maybe if there's a different leader on the Republican side, there could be some compromise if Mitt Romney was there or someone, but that's not going to happen. This is the world we live in. So that is fundamentally the problem. Now, getting rid of the filibuster, even Democrats right now, we're missing a couple of votes to make that happen. But this is not about power. For the GOP, it's all about power. Power at all costs. It doesn't matter. And it's power for the sake of power. It's for delivering tax cuts for the wealthy and rolling back regulations that protect people but help their corporations that donate to them give even more money. For us, though, sharing power is an impediment to passing legislation. It's not power for power's sake. It's not, they're tough with us or we're going to be tough with them. No, the only metric I'm sure most of you view as successful is, can we enact legislation that helps our fellow Americans, that makes this country better? And the only way to do that is not a power-sharing deal that's anything more than perfunctory. It is perhaps having Vice President Harris spend every day that there's sessions in the Senate as Senate president so that we can make sure our agenda goes forward for the next 2 years. And if we do a good job and then pick up seats like Ron Johnson in Wisconsin, there's going to be an open seat in Pennsylvania, which Republicans have now, picking up 1 or 2 more seats, then we don't need that anymore. So we'll talk about that and more on my show today. The idea of, look, are Democrats not going to learn from the past about being nice to Republicans and sharing power and trying to find compromise with people who are about power for power's sake? No, I hope not. My show's live 6 to 9 p.m. on channel 127. Again, as I say every night, if you don't subscribe to SiriusXM, go to the website. There's free trials. Click on it. Join the show. Join our family. Be a part of it. A lot more work to do. Remember, want progress, stay active. Thanks for tuning in to tonight's